spiritual blinding is global, layered, consistent, continuous. And when you understand Luciferic doctrine and agenda clearly, you're going to be able to see and connect the dots and what it's all coming. Because whether it comes from the Masons, whether it comes from secret societies, whether it comes from the Gnostics, whether it comes from, again, the so-called aliens teaching humanity and trying to breed with humanity, trying to create a hybrid. Story after story after story after story of all the hybrids. Very similar to the satanic ritual abuse issue as far as the end result. Create a hybrid. Create a human and a super being, hybrid. And whatever language they use, because I'm very clear about one thing. As I look at Maurice's book here to my left, the title, The Super Gods. Obviously, as I read it, I see that he looks at Nephilim, the first generation ones. They would be super gods in his view. And I think that that's what they wanted to be prior to the flood. After the flood, when you track, as Steve Quayle has done in his book on giants, the archaeology done behind it, even today, in finding bones, giant bones, places, all over the world. Wherever you find a ziggurat, the temples that look like the Mayan temples, wherever you find those, coast of China, Sardinia, all over the world, wherever you find them, it's where Nephilim, usually first generation, but it could be second, third, fourth, fifth, that opened the massive gateways demonically to create a demonized culture, a kind of miniature Babylon. Revelation 18. The home of every demonic presence, foul bird. That's the picture. But it's going global, folks. It's going global. God has given the heads up that it's going global. And the seduction and the deception and the alternative and the Luciferic rationalization will go way beyond the Mayan culture. The Mayan, the dear Indian people, the indigenous people of that day, as in other parts of the world, they were overtaken by the Nephilim. They were, as they would in the Old Testament days too, Moabites, Philistines, Hittites, all the ites out there, whether it was Moloch or Baal or Nebo or, all of those gods and goddesses, and then the Nephilim, it all ended in keep people from God, bring people into slavery and servitude, get them to sacrifice their own children in a bloody, horrific way, and live and seek, the demon gods and the Nephilim seek self-exaltation. Antichrist, or Satan in human skin, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, that's one of the goals. Proclaiming himself God, getting the world to worship him. Is the Antichrist any different than Quetzalcoatl in that issue? Won't it be on the backs of bloodshed and human sacrifice, declaring himself to be God, forcing worship, a mark, an image? Can't you see the same thing, only on a broader scale? Questions real quick concerning satanic ritually abused as the breeders. They've been used by the thousands and thousands. The stories are into the thousands now, as those who would the babies would be taken to use in alien or in human sacrifice. Secondly, and the biggest issue of all is the backbreeding that continued Lebensborn. So I'm going to say, study Lebensborn. Many of the people babies that were born in the early 40s, late 30s and early 40s, they're still all over the world. And it was a goal of a spiritual genetic mix of Aryan, to get to Aryan genetics or to Nephilim genetics, and to the power of that blood, a demonized, a charged blood, maybe even in the genetics. And so the goal was to go and backbreed and get there, and that has been the number one predominant thing among satanic ritual abuse. Among millions of victims, they can tell you, the counselors can tell you, the stories of marriage to the beast, hundreds and hundreds of rituals, of demonic engagement sexually, of demonized, totally manifested, possessed, demonized individuals forcing the sexual relationship to create, to cause conception and create even another demonized, maybe even more powerful superhuman, with the goal that there could be the arrival of fallen angels doing it again and creating Nephilim. Now, in all of this discussion, the proof is in the pudding, and our position is to take the stories and, in the name of the living Christ, to look for more corroborative information. And as I said, there are those who are currently seeking, through spiritual warfare and mapping, can you find the Nephilim? Can you fight them? We're going to have to carry this on. I'm going to have to bring it again next week. And there's too many questions. We got some answers. This is Russ Dizdar, shatterthedarkness.net, and we love you, and God bless you.